What's up, people? We back with another wonderful breakdown from yours truly. Still trying to figure out how I want this thing here. Let's try it from there right there. Let's try it right there for now. I think I like it. I like it like that. Oh yeah. Let me turn Amadeus down. Happy New Year's Eve. Hold on, I was listening to my soundboard last night and it's still a little too loud. Queen D said, Hotep Jesus ended 2021 with a bang. Oh, you already know. You already know. Got to, man. Imperativo. How y'all feeling, man? How y'all feeling? R.I.P. Betty White, man, damn. Shorty couldn't even make it to her. Shorty couldn't make it to her birthday. Y'all think they took her out, man? How you gonna die right before your birthday? Right before you turn 100? Press one's in the chat if you think the redacted took her out. That's some bullshit. Betty White. Betty might be the purest soul to ever hit this planet. You know, I was thinking earlier about this existence of ours, and this has nothing to do with what we're talking about today, but I'm going to share this thought with you anyway. This existence of ours, and this could be considered, I guess, a biblical thought, a religious thought, a spiritual thought. It's all relevant, right? But what if after you pass away, you wake up in this other dimension, right? This other realm, this other place, right? And one way to look at it is simulation theory. So let's look at it simulation theory. Let's say it's simulation theory and you wake up like on some Total Recall type situation where like you're like, wow, that entire life I just spent was a dream, right? But it was a test, right? What if in this other realm you have these series of past lives, right? And everything you were born with, everything that you came into this world with, everything around you, the type of parents you had, the type of wealth you had, etc., was placed there based upon your experiences in a past life and the lessons you need to learn in this life. And what if you keep repeating the same mistakes from the past life that you do in this life? We have to be very conscious of our negative habits, so that in the next life, we ascend instead of coming back to the same place we started out in the last life. Anyway, let's talk about the topic today. But before we get into that, I'm your loyal host, your wonderful shepherd, Pastor Hotep Jesus. 2022, we're embarking on a mission to promote homeschooling, make homeschooling popular. We want to disseminate information that empowers parents and guardians with the information and resources they need to transition from mainstream schooling to a homeschooling atmosphere. We had an amazing individual the other day donated $1,000. $1,000 to our initiative. Shout out to him. We just got another donation. I just checked just now. Wonderful. Shout out to these people, man. Everybody pitching in. You know, the more money that we raise, the bigger we can make this thing. The more successful the program will be. So I'm very excited with the amount of money we raised. We can already afford to purchase materials to make this thing happen. And obviously, as you know, we're a 501c3, so all of your donations are tax deductible. Cassius Cam said, when they asked why HJ the General, I asked if they can grift on New Year's Eve. They're not the same. Hotep and Bill, we about to crush 22. No cap. Hey, man, you know, I keep the consistency and the momentum up. That's what I'm here for. I'm just trying to keep the consistency and momentum going, trying to be an example for the people and lead the people in the right direction. So you got to lead by example. So we working consistently. It's imperative. I'm going to do another stream after this, too. I'm going to go to the chess channel. I got my swag back in chess. I was studying and realized where I was going wrong. Soundtrack's going to be James Brown. We're going to be playing some James Brown on my chess channel. If you haven't subscribed to that, it's Hotep Chess. Go to my channel. I have all the other Hoteps YouTube channels linked. Let's talk about what we're talking about today. Shout out to my followers. Amazing people. Put this information across my desk. I had not seen this. You know, I don't spend much time on the social medias. I check my mentions and I vamos. But they put this on my desk, and you know, I have several followers who keep me well aware. We have a chat, all donors. If you donate, hotepnation.com/donate, you get invited to our chat. So all donors also get invited to the chat. And then we have another DM chat for the Hotep's Been Told You show, and a lot of information gets passed there. So I don't really have to check the timeline. You know, usually I do the whole newspaper thing. And then you grab a newspaper, you read the headlines and see which ones you're interested in and be up to date. So I check the trending topics, check my mentions, and I'm out. Sometimes I don't even check my full mentions because sometimes there's too many. So if you ever like respond to me or mention me on Twitter and I don't respond, I probably didn't see it. So this video came across my mentions. I'm gonna go ahead and play this clip here under the Fair Use Act from MSNBC. I'll pull it up on the screen here. Let's do this. Let's do this. Boom, boom. Okay, here we are. Here we have Faust himself. Dr. Faust. All right. Let me unmute this. And then I'll mute the music, and then we'll listen to what Dr. Fauci has to say. Whoops. Okay, here we go. Let's play this.
And I want to ask specifically about hospitalization. One of the recent concerns, I'm sure you're getting asked a lot about this. How do you explain the sudden increase in hospitalizations among children? I mean, if Omicron is less severe and 15 to 20% less likely to send someone to the hospital, why are we seeing this sudden increase in children at hospital with COVID?
Well, that's a good question, and there are two things that contribute to that. First of all, quantitatively, you're having so many more people, including children, who are getting infected. And even though hospitalization among children is much, much lower on a percentage basis than hospitalizations for adults, particularly elderly individuals. However, when you have such a large volume of infections among children, even with a low level of rate of infection, you're going to still see a lot more children who get hospitalized. But the other important thing is that if you look at the children who are hospitalized, many of them are hospitalized with COVID as opposed to because of COVID.
Let's stop right there. So basically what he's trying to do is trying to make a delineation between with COVID and because of the bug. Right? Trying to make a differentiation there. It's different, right? It's one thing to have the bug, be in a hospital with the bug, or to be in a hospital because of the bug. I could have sworn there was this group of hoteps that had been told you about this. Let's go back to the clip. Let him finish. Let's let the God himself finish.
And what we mean by that, if a child goes in the hospital, they automatically get tested for COVID, and they get counted as a COVID hospitalized individual, when in fact they may go in for a broken leg or appendicitis or something like that. So it's overcounting the number of children who are, quote, hospitalized with COVID as opposed to because of COVID.
He must be a conspiracy theorist. He must be a conspiracy theorist. The bug is dangerous. We're in the middle of a pandemic. How can he minimize this? Surely these children might be in the hospital because of the bug. This guy must be a conspiracy. Who is this guy? Let's play that part back right there. Let's play that part back really fast. Hold on, let me close Slack. Quit Slack. All right, cool.
Tested for COVID, and they get counted as a COVID hospitalized individual, when in fact they may go in for a broken leg or appendicitis or something like that. So it's overcounting the appendicitis or something like that. So it's overcounting something like that. So it's overcounting. It's overcounting something like that. So it's overcounting. So it's overcounting. Overcount like that. So it's overcounting the. It's overcounting the number. It's overcounting the number of children.
How many times I gotta do this? How many times I gotta do this?
Like that. So it's overcounting the number.
Now hold up, we gotta play that one more time, yo.
So it's overcounting. So it's overcounting.
Ladies and gentlemen, did y'all hear that?
So it's overcounting. So it's overcounting the.
What did he just say? Certainly he's a conspiracy theorist. The pandemic is dangerous.
So it's overcounting. So it's overcounting the number of children.
Let's hold on, just for bookmark purposes, let's pull this up. December 30th, 2021. Oh man, the comments, they're counting them in the comments. Oh my God. December 30th, 2021. You know, we always got to timestamp these things so we know when these things are said. If you watch this show or content on this channel, you know, if you're based, you knew that already. You knew this information already. We didn't have to wait for Dr. Fauci to tell us this. We knew what was being counted in these numbers. So what about when we talk about the people who are no longer with us? Does that apply too? If their cause of leaving this realm could be bifurcated into with the bug and because of the bug. How does that change the numbers? Cassius Cam says, oh, thank you for the super chat. He says, oh, so now underlying conditions matter? Question mark dorks. This is information that we already reported. On Hotep's been told you. This is information that's actually been reported by members of Charlie Delta Charlie. They just don't do it. They just don't do it at the large press conferences, right? They do it at the smaller press conferences or some smaller things. But I remember seeing a black lady come from Charlie Delta Charlie, and she said the same thing. She said, hey, you know that certain, when you're talking about cases, causes, and all of that, that it's the quantitative data, etc. Jessica. All of that data is being collected, added together. Because and with are two completely different things. Two completely different things. Now, this information has already been circulated around the world, circulated around the internet. If you're based, you know this. If you're a liberal, probably not. This might be news to you. If you voted for Biden, this might be news to you. But Dr. Fauci just told you. So what does that mean? What does that mean? It means that when the media, when mainstream media has reported and used these collective numbers, these numbers that have been aggregated and combined, and then report them to you and create mass hysteria, this is what they use to justify communism, to justify socialism, to justify greater government, bigger government. If you watched my series or my Great Reset presentation, where we went into what Klaus Schwab wrote in the Great Reset, World Economic Forum sponsored, you'll know about. There's a section in the book called Big Government. I'm not going to pull it up and read it again today. Go back. But these things actually increase the size of government. That's what they do. When you increase the size of government, you also increase the necessity. They go hand in hand. Size of government and necessity, right? They purport that here's a need for us to interfere. And what that manifests into is 1984. That's how it manifests. This is what Orwell warned us about. Exactly what he warned us about. So they created, they used these numbers, these quantitative numbers, create mass hysteria to justify bigger government. Liberals couldn't see this. Democrats couldn't see this. And I'm talking about the hoi polloi. I'm talking about the rank and file. I'm not talking about the powers that be, because the powers that be are well aware of what's going on. The politicians are well aware of what's going on. The politicians are saying, oh, this is great for us. This is good news. Bigger government means I get to keep my job longer. Get a bonus. Remember when we had the recession and Congress got a raise? I think one of the bills got passed. What's that big bill that got passed last year or this year? The bailout. You know, the demic bailout. Congress got a raise. Where'd that money coming from? Money's coming from folks like me and you. That's where the money's coming from. It's coming from folks like me and you. One more time. Let's go back to it. Let's go back to it one more time, because this is just funny.
So it's overcounting, something like that. So it's overcounting.
It's not.
So it's overcounting.
It's not a conspiracy theory anymore. December 3rd, MSNBC.
It's overcounting.
And I'm gonna tell you what the good news is here with this.
Like that. So it's overcounting.
Cassius said, about to clip that overcount for some beats. Please do. Please do. Make me a clip for the soundboard too.
Overcounting.
Overcounting. That's what they said.
So it's overcounting.
Now, if you'd have said this last year, you'd have been banned. Like this gentleman here. Let's pull up this tweet here recently. Hold on. Let's bring this on the screen so you can see it. Twitter admits error in suspending Just the News founder's account over the bug facts. Let's dive into the article here. Let me make sure you guys can see it. Let's make it smaller so you guys can see. This says here, oh my God, all these ads, bro. Like, what are you guys doing at your news agency? Can we read the news without like a million ads? Can we do that? Can we do that? I need media to stop being so thirsty. Find another way to monetize. Find another way. Find a better monetization model, Mr. Solomon. Anyway, Twitter late Thursday acknowledged that Just the News founder and editor-in-chief John Solomon's account was suspended in error. Follows an appeal early in the day by Solomon after his account was suspended Tuesday for linking to the article Is Miser to continue distributing a version of the bug vacation not fully approved by FEMA. Okay, let's go look at that. So this was published by Just the News. I wonder who their source is. So Miser's vacation against the bug has been fully approved by the Food and Drug Administration, yet the pharmaceutical giant is still providing distributors across the country with earlier version of the vacation that predates FEMA's full approval. You guys can go in here and read this. But this is what happens. You tweet facts and Twitter says, wait, that's not true according to our current knowledge base. Not accounting for the fact that their knowledge base is often behind. Their people aren't going to go, oh, wait, let's look into this and see if it's true or not. They're going to go, no, we think this is false, suspend. Oh, he said something that we don't like, suspend. Suspend. If you just said what Dr. Fauci just said, they would have suspended your account. Now, are they going to retroactively bring people back that said the things that were correct, but to mainstream wasn't correct at the time? It's not a problem being correct. It's a problem of being politically correct. Right? Big tech, big business, big politics set the agenda. We the people are stupid, so we don't nip it at the bud. We don't hold anybody accountable. We go along to get along. That's what I hate, go along to get along people, man. Go along to get along people are probably some of the worst people to exist on this planet. And I don't mean that from a moral or ethics standpoint. It's just that their compliance is a threat to my freedom. That's my quote. Don't steal it. Your compliance is a threat to my freedom. And you going along to get along. I've seen it all throughout school, right? Grade school, high school, all of that good stuff. You know, people that just ride the wave. And I'm just like, yo, why are you a wave rider? Like, you don't even believe. You don't even like the people that you're hanging out with, but you're hanging out with them because it's cool, right? It's the thing to do. You're the same people that go along to get along are people who try to hang with the in crowd when they didn't even like the in crowd. You are the in crowd. Okay? And the more people understand that they are an individual and they're allowed to have their own opinions and they stop being afraid of the mob, you might find out the mob is quite accepting of you. The mob, right? Because sometimes people are afraid to express themselves. I've been in situations where, I understood some people were afraid to express themselves, and I wasn't, and I spoke up, and another individual goes, yeah, I heard about that. And then everybody goes, really? And then all of a sudden the conversation moves into a direction where people are getting educated and thinking outside the box. So sometimes you're afraid for no reason. But anyway, back to big tech. They will censor you. They will censor you because they're behind, because they're caught up in the past, because their information is obsolete. So they'll censor you. And then you find out, oh, wait, he was right. We have to unsuspend his account. Yeah. Let's talk about AOC. AOC, let's see here. Let's pull up this tweet here. John, his name is Naturally Immune, Cardio, says, AOC was living it up, mask-free and Doraku on Lincoln Road in South Beach with some Amish dude in Birkenstocks who thinks he's on rum springer break. Okay, whatever. So here we have AOC and her man. I believe that's her man. Hanging out in South Beach. And this became a thing. AOC loves DeSantis, apparently. So everybody was chiming in on AOC loves DeSantis. I would have preferred to see AOC loves freedom, but I get the DeSantis take. It's just weird when we it's just weird when people try to criticize people for something they want to do. Here she says rules to thee, but not AOC. It's kind of irrelevant because they're in Florida. The rules in Florida is free. I think we should say, hey, shout out to AOC. She understands that Florida is free. She's not afraid of the surge in Florida. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Instead, you have people like this. Right now, maskless AOC is the only person in Miami who doesn't speak Spanish. What? Okay. Got to be careful. Got to be careful. Now, this is funny. The funny thing about socialists, they hate living under socialism. That's funny. That's true. But this is great. This is great. I just think this is the icon of freedom. That's what I would do. I would show them this picture and say, this is the icon of freedom. Hanging out in Miami. We should be applauding her. We should be applauding her for this. Ron DeSantis, this is how you do it. This is how you do it. He's got the right idea. Enjoy your vacation, AOC. Welcome to the free state of Florida. Indeed. Indeed. That's how it's done. So shout out to AOC enjoying that Florida weather. I wish I could be down there. I might head down there next month. I might hold a contest, actually. I might hold a contest. And one lucky winner will actually get to hang out with me in Miami and potentially visit Fresh and Fit. I'll go down there and hang out. We'll do the Fresh and Fit show. I'll do a contest. You guys think that's a good idea? Let's see. I'll fly you out. Got to be U.S. though. I ain't flying nobody from a foreign country. Should I hang out with? Let's make this a poll. Let me know if you guys think that's a good idea. Shout out to Trish. Trish in the chat. He said fresh and fed. Well, everybody knew he was a fed. He said it himself. There wasn't a secret. He said, bro, please. He said, Hotep's my main source of news. You're in a good place. You're in a good place if you are. You're in a good place for your main source. Here's what, coming back to Fauci. Here's the problem right here. Take a look at this. Can you see that? Right here. It says, you either understand history or trust the government. You can't do both. You can't do both. And that's exactly why I wrote the Patriot Report, Unmasking the Conspiracy of Money and War. That's exactly why I wrote this book. I did the research. It took me about 2 years of research to find all the real juicy facts, because that's all I included. I included the juicy facts. And the sources, over 200 citations in there, because I wanted people to understand that fact. Go look at your early government. Not now. Go look at how the beginning started. And you tell me, if this is the roots of the tree, how can you expect its fruit to bear anything other than poison? So that's why I went to the root of your United States, your beloved United States government. The early beginnings. Then I go to its roots, which is in Europe. And I'll show you how that worked with money and the monarchs. I also have a presentation on that. I have a whole playlist called the Patriot Report. Go to my playlist on this channel and hit Patriot Report. And so if you don't want to buy the book or you don't want to read the book, you can just sit down and read and watch the playlist of all my presentations on the topic. And I go through chapter by chapter. It's not finished yet. I think I'm on chapter 5 or something in the book as far as the presentation is concerned. But I want people to understand. I want people to have the knowledge. If you don't buy it, it's cool. I'll give it to you for free. I want people to have the knowledge. And I it's kind of cool because if you bought the book, you get the full explanation of things in case you don't understand some of the verbiage in the book. But that's what's going on. You either understand history or you trust the government. Can't do both. That's why I study history. I was talking to somebody the other night. I forget who it was, man. But it's nothing new under the sun. Oh, it was with my chess team. That's right. It's nothing new under the sun. Right? And Diego. And we're trying to understand today. Right? And what I said was, study the past. If you study the past, it mirrors today. It literally mirrors today. Flash back to Rome, you're going to see something that you're like, oh, that reminds me of this today. Flash back to early America, it reminds me of something today. So if you start seeing that, what you see are patterns. And that's the thing, like people say, oh, Hoteps, how did you know this was going to happen? It's because if you study history, you see the patterns. So when it happens now, I'm like, okay, so I've seen this rerun before. So here's what's going to happen in the next episode. I wanted to read something to you, and I totally forgot. I wanted to. Oh, there it is. Hold on a second. It's just my area is a mess. This is gonna be the last thing I clean up. I reorganize my closets and everything, but I have stacks of books. Like I have a stack of books over here, I have a stack over here, then I have a stack over there, and then the bookshelves upstairs. So I wanted to read a chapter here. Let me see what's on this. Let me see what's on this before I go to. And then I want to see if anybody can guess what book it is I'm reading. Final policy. Creating United Nations. Oh no, that's too deep. We can't get into that today. I might save this for when Tulsi is trending. Because this is definitely Tulsi relevant. Yeah, that might be too deep. Let's go here. Right? We're talking about oh, this is a nice chapter too. See, I got my tabs and notes in this. Yeah, let's not get into that. Let's go right here. All right, cool. So it says here, Federal Emergency Management Agency. It says here, the following is a transcript of an audio tape with an urgent message to the people from William Cooper on the subject of HR 4079. We must stop the traitors now. William Cooper dictated this information to me by phone early in 1990, and I tape recorded information as he gave it. I made many tapes and sent them out exactly as Mr. Cooper has asked me to do, and those receipts have done the same. My name is Richard Murray, and I believe that William Cooper is the only man in America outside of the secret government who truly knows what is happening and what it means to us, the average American citizens. Now, who can guess to me what book this is? Type it in the chat. Legend of Ruler just saw some appreciation. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for paying your tuition. Much love. Okay, so I'm not going to read the whole thing. So it says here, any disaster emergency declared at all, even including the oil spill from the Exxon tanker in Alaska. I'm sorry, I might have to read at least. I'll have to read from here. Okay, a pretext for invoking. Damn, I gotta read the whole thing, otherwise it's out of context. All right, so it says he's a member of FEMA, and he's a member of the interdepartmental unit, which is empowered in the event of national emergency to become the unelected national government. A sort of FEMA secret government, so to speak. I'm going to say that again. National security emergency to become unelected national government. Oh, the chat knows. The chat knows. Okay. I don't know what year I got this. Maybe I can find. I've had this book before you guys even joined Twitter. Before you guys even knew what an internet was. So this one's 1991. This is a 1991 copy. Let's continue. So this is how early in my life. So 1991 places me at 21 years old. So 21 years old, I bought my first copy of this. Where were you in 1991? Were you based in Red Build in what's it? 1991? Yeah, 1991. I'm sorry, I was 11. No, I take that back. That would make me 11. So no, I didn't get this then. But I'm sure I got this in my early 20s. I take that back. My math is terrible. Oh my gosh. That's embarrassing. The copyright is 1991. Anyway, let's continue. So, national security emergency to become unelected national government. Okay. A pretext for invoking those emergency members can be found almost daily in the newspapers. Oh, I'll say it again. Those emergency measures can be found almost daily in the newspapers. Daily, right? Now, there's another book I'm going to put across your desk. I need you guys to go out and read. I've suggested this before, and I'm going to suggest this now. And this is it's a short read. Let's pull this up. So I need you to get this. I need you to get a copy of this book. Someone gave this to me years ago. Then he disappeared. It was very eerie. Like he said, yo, I got a book for you to read. I'm going to send it to you. I'm like, okay. So I gave him my address and he sent it to me. And then like, as soon as I got the book, he deleted his account. It was very weird. This book right here, How to Watch TV News by Neil Postman. So in this book, basically what Neil Postman is purporting is that if the media wanted to, they can create mass hysteria over something. An example he gives you is dogs being dangerous, right? He says, if the media reported around the clock every single person that got bit by a dog, they can convince you that there's some sort of rabid dog attack happening across the country, right? So this is manipulation of media. So again, here is what he's saying is, a pretext for invoking these measures can be found almost daily in newspapers. It means they can take anything from the newspaper and say, hey, look, there's an emergency. So it says it could be anything from the suspension of debt payments by high bureaus of American countries to mass runs on U.S. commercial banks. And that's an issue, by the way, that's being handled personally by the National Security Council and Brent Scowcroft. To food shortages, to the drug war, the whole bit, anything, any disaster emergency declared at all, even including the oil spill from the Exxon tanker in Alaska. If the president had declared a national emergency, that could have triggered any instability in the Middle East, anything. In fact, he's saying anything could invoke the FEMA, right? He said they've already tested their capabilities in April 1984 with Rex 84A. If anybody knows about Rex 84, go Google that now and get based. And that was designed to test the readiness of the U.S. civilian and military agencies to respond to a national security crisis. Now, the executive order that will implement this, the executive order 11051, details responsibilities to the Office of Emergency Planning, or FEMA. It gives authorization to put all of executive orders into effect in times of national emergency declared by the president, increased international tension, or economic or financial crisis. Note that it covers every conceivable domestic crisis, but does not even mention war or nuclear attack. Okay. Now, the only thing that has to happen for FEMA to be able to implement all the executive orders, emergency executive orders, is for the president to declare a national emergency of any type, as long as it's a national emergency. So let's stop. Let's take a look. Let's take a look right here. Let's go here. Let's go here. What does it say? United States. President Biden declares national emergency to address threats posed by humanitarian crisis in Ethiopia. Okay. Right here. President Biden declares state of emergency for California by Caldor fire. Cool. Let me see something real fast. Hold on. Let's see if there's one for the bug. So, same thing happened here. Let's go here. It says right here, Biden continues national emergency declaration for the bug. Beyond March 1. Da 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 da. So we know that in the United States, because of the bug, there was a national emergency declared. Right. Letter of continuation, February 24. See it here, whitehouse.gov. Everybody see that? Y'all see that, right? Okay. So we know that a national emergency was declared in the United States of America, and several national emergencies as well. As I showed you, one for Ethiopia and one for California and whatever else, right? So let's continue. So we know that. Okay, so it says here, and right here, I'll show you in the book. There's a list of executive orders. Now, if you see me on InfoWars with Alex Jones, I've actually read some of these out on that show. So I'll read some here to you. Executive Order 10995 provides for the takeover of the communications media. For the takeover of the communications media. Again, HR 4079. If there's a national emergency, who has authorization? Federal Emergency Management Agency. And it says here, Executive Order 10997 provides for the takeover of all electrical, power, petroleum, gas, fuels, and minerals. You go look this stuff up. 988, 10988 provides for the takeover of foods, resources, and farms. 10999 provides for the takeover of all modes of transportation, control over highways and seaports. And they're just going in order here. Provides for mobilization of all citizens into work brigades under the government supervision. I don't know about y'all. That sounds like gulags to me. 11,000. Executive Order 11,000 provides for mobilization of all civilians into work brigades under the government supervision. Alex Stein said, Hotep, you are a legend in the making. Thank you, my guy. Hey, thanks, bro. I'm not the legend. William Cooper is. I just read stuff. I just come on the channel and I read stuff. I'm not the legend. I just read stuff. I read stuff to the people, things that they need to know about. That's all I do. That's all I do. This guy's the legend. He's the one that knew the information. I just happen to have it. 11001, but I appreciate the compliment. Provides for governmental takeover of all health, education, and welfare functions. Designates the Postmaster General to operate national registration of all persons. Next one, government to take over airports and aircraft. Next one, provides for the Housing and Finance Authority to relocate communities, designate areas to be abandoned, and establish new locations for populations. Provides for the government to take over railroads, inland waterways, and public storage facilities. He continues, he says, now, all of these were combined under Nixon into one huge executive order, which allows all of this to take place if the president declares a national emergency, and it can be implemented by the head of FEMA, not by the president. The president has already given him that power under these executive orders. Now, real quick, before I continue reading, I'll put something else across your desk. I'm giving y'all homework, right? I gave y'all one book to read. That's another book you need to read. I'm gonna give y'all some more homework. Hold on. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Here we go. A lecture you need to watch, and all of his lectures are great. This is at Villanova. Here we go. Boom, boom. Stop right here. This guy right here. Let's get a nice look at him. That's a good enough one. Let's put this on the screen. This is Walter Williams at Villanova University giving a lecture. It's called The Legitimate Role of Government in Free Society. All right. You have to watch this lecture. It's an hour and 25 minutes long, according to YouTube right there, according to YouTube timestamp. This was posted in 2012. All right. Now, let me go back here so I can remember why I wanted to show you that. Oh, I remember why. In this lecture, what he says is an individual, if you fast forward to the end of that lecture, there's a Q&A portion, and somebody asked Walter Williams, if you were to be president, what would you do, right? And, you know, he's like, I don't think he ever uses the word anarchist, but he's sort of like an anarchist. He's libertarian leanings, whatever. He's anti-state power, I should say. Anti-state oppression, anti-tyranny. But anyway, he says he would repeal all the executive orders. All of them. He didn't discriminate. He said, I would remove all the executive orders. He said, because the president has the power to do that. Okay, so going back to the reading, as we know, all of these were executive orders. So it says all these will come out. So he says declares an emergency. President declares an emergency, whether it's 5 years, or 5 minutes or forever. It doesn't make any difference. FEMA can then implement all of these executive orders, take over all local, state, and national governments, suspend the Constitution, and do whatever they want to do. Now, remember what North said during the Iran-Contra hearings. He said that they were prepared to suspend the Constitution of the United States. And he said if it hadn't been for their getting caught, that this would have happened. And all that did was delay it. This is what is still going to happen. This is right here. This is what is still going to happen. So when you wake up one day and you've got mandates across the country, government telling you what you can and cannot do, and you start screaming about, oh, the Constitution. It's been suspended. Declared a national emergency. Hold on, let me pull this up. I just want to find the year real fast. Damn. I don't want to take up too much time, but Google giving me the runaround, and I'll bring this stuff up next time. I'll find the right sources, but Google's trying to give me a let me see. I'll try one more time. There we go. There's no wiki on this? Come on, there's got to be a wiki on this. All right, here we go. Okay, let me boom boom. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do a deep dive to really pull up what I want here and use a different search engine, and it's gonna take me at least 15-20 minutes to find the information I want because, well, the communists control the internet now. And I'll have to scrub through all this and find the highlights. I'll come back to that. Anyway, so that's your lesson. That's your lesson. Liz BC says, thank you, sir, for all that you do for homeschooling in a blue state, and want to do it for my 12-year-old. Grateful for all that you do. Happy New Year. Yeah, absolutely, man. Shout out to your 12-year-old. Yeah, we have a homeschooling initiative. If anybody would like to donate, hotepnation.com/donate. That'll be super dope. Yeah, we're gonna provide some information. We're also gonna give you some. We'll cover resources for the state that you're in. So we'll have all 50 plus states, whatever it is that we have now, and point you in the right direction on regulations, I guess you can say, so that you're compliant. Somebody said, now that Trump is, I'm gonna hang out for 5 minutes and read the chat with y'all. Now that Trump is vaxxed and microchipped, he cannot be trusted anymore. What? Microchipped? Yo, I really feel like y'all got hoodwinked into not liking Trump anymore. Trump your only hope. Y'all gonna run with DeSantis though, and I'm gonna watch that disaster happen. I think DeSantis is gonna be and I really feel like the left is playing into this. Everything is about DeSantis, right? You see, behind closed doors, they're all homies. They argue on the internet, but when the internet closes and when lights go out, they're all humping in the background. They're only enemies in front of the camera. It's only for TV. So when they attack DeSantis, they're like, oh, we're going to push DeSantis to be the Republican guy because they don't want Trump. Trump was way too disruptive. He was way too disruptive. I got Trump over DeSantis. DeSantis has way too much political experience for me to trust him. Just can't do it. Let's look up Ron DeSantis. Let's do that right now. Let's see here. Boom. I'll pull this up on the screen and we'll read it together and go through it together. Let's see. Born 1978. All right, 2 years before me, so he's around my age. Damn, I feel old. Republican Party, 6th District. He's governor. Right. Went to Yale and Harvard. Served in the Navy. Oh man, yeah, he's prime. Oh my God, he's perfect. Served in the military, Harvard and Yale. Oh, this guy is squeaky clean. Oh, he's perfect. He's perfect to take on the role of president, at least from what they deem, right? What they deem. Italian. Okay. What else do we know? Military service. Right. Beautiful. 2012, I guess, was his start as a House rep. Let's see. So here it says he introduced the faithful execution of the Law Act of 2014 in the House January 29 of that year. The bill would have directed the United States Department of Justice to report to Congress whenever any federal agency refrained from enforcing laws or regulations for any reason. It's not a bad idea. I can get behind something like that. In his report, the government would have been required to explain why it hadn't decided to enforce that law. It could be a double-edged sword, too, because not all laws are lawful or moral. President Obama has not only failed to uphold several of our nation's laws, he has vowed to continue to do so in order to. And if you want to know about morality and laws, you got to read Frederick Bastiat, The Law. It's a classic, required reading. Announces candidacy for Senate, held by Rubio. Endorsed by Club of Growth. Rubio in his bid ran for re-election, then withdrew from the Senate race and ran for re-election in the House. What? I'm gonna have to look into that. That sounds kind of weird. And here he is. All right, Florida. Bug 19. Supports the implementation of medical marijuana. Okay, I like that. Veterans health. Yeah, we gotta take care of our veterans. Contraceptives and abortion. He opposes abortion. Has denounced Planned Parenthood. Okay, he's agreed with the decision, saying I'm gonna have to look into this case right here because I don't believe in the government telling people they can and cannot have abortions. If you want to abort your little bastard child, then you should be able to, in my humble opinion, because I don't want to set the precedent that government gets to tell people what they can and cannot do with their bodies. But I don't know the details of this particular case. I'll have to look into it. Economy. Let's see how to reduce the federal deficit. He supports no budget, no pay. No budget, no pay. I don't know if that makes sense. That sounds status. Policy of Congress to encourage the passage of a budget. Budget, no pay. The budget doesn't really mean anything. He believes the federal reserve system should be audited. I like that. That's dope. That's dope. In the wake of the alleged IRS targeting controversy called IRS Commissioner John Koskinen resignation, having failed American people by frustrating Congress's attempt to ascertain the truth, he co-sponsored a bill to impeach Koskinen for violating the public's trust. Not bad. DeSantis supported the regulations from the executive and need scrutiny, which require regulations to have significant economic impact. Require that regulations that have an economic impact be subject to a vote of Congress prior to taking an effect. Double-edged sword. That's a double-edged sword because when it comes to economy, there should be no regulations. But I can't completely denounce him for that. Introduce Let Seniors Work Act, which will repeal retirement earnings test. I don't even know what a reason which effectively defers benefits of people above. Okay, it's not bad. Exempt senior citizens from the payroll. Nah, they should get that. I support that. Sponsor the Transportation Empowerment Act, which would transfer much of the responsibility for transportation projects to the states and sharply reduce the federal gas tax. Now that I don't agree with. That's communist. That's communist right there, and I'll show you that. That's why I say, like, some of these politicians is like double-edged swords. And I'm gonna head over to my chess channel after we finish scrubbing DeSantis. You gotta be careful. Like, some of these people they'll slide you right into a communist situation. So let's pull up 10 planks of communism, and I think it's called laissez-faire. Okay, this is conservativeusa.net, and right here, one of the 10 planks of the communism of 10 planks of Karl Marx's communism is centralization of the means of communication and transport in the hands of the state. So that's the 6th plank in the Communist Manifesto. So I'm not rocking with DeSantis on that one. Transportation needs to be privatized and let the market handle that. But again, I don't understand the particular problems in Florida, so I can't speak in too much detail and say he's right or wrong definitively. Has opposed legislation to require online retailers to collect and pay state sales tax. Proposed legislation to require online retailers to collect and pay. I like that. That's a good idea. Yeah. Voted for tax cuts. In Georgetown, he said the bill would bring dramatically lower tax rate. Full exposure. I like that. So I would say most things here, if not like 99% of the things I read there, I like. Opposes federal education programs such as, that's dope. This is good. Said into higher education reform and opportunity act, which allows states to create their own accreditation systems. I like that. I like this guy. I gotta be honest with you. I like this guy so far. Led an effort to ban the teaching of critical race theory. I like that. Signed 3 education bills suggesting that state colleges could lose funding if they were found to promote state ideology and indoctrination. I like that. This guy's got his shit together. I might go back on my word. House Bill 233 requires institutions to annually assess the intellectual freedom and view diversity, introduce new requirements, critics of the laws. All right, that doesn't sound like a bad idea. Announced that Florida will replace Florida in a test, a small test gathered throughout the year. He said a replacement. I have to look at the specifics of that, but that doesn't sound too bad. DeSantis announced a new bill called the Stop Wrongs to Our Kids Employment Woke Act, which will allow parents to sue school districts that teach their children critical race theory. That's hilarious. Hydraulic fracturing. Bans local governments from requiring bans local governments in Florida from requiring gas stations to add electric. Yeah, I like that. He seems mad libertarian, to be honest with you. Condemn the pullout in Afghanistan. Blah, 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 blah. All right, how's he on guns? Let's see how he is on guns. Opposes gun control. A+ rating from the NRA. Okay. Very rarely do firearms restrictions affect criminals. They only affect law-abiding systems. All right. Based. Not ready to support the Health Care Act. Announced he would sign an executive order prohibiting the vacation passports. I love that. He has a 0 rating from the Human Rights Campaign for his voting record on the rainbow-related issues. Okay, let's see what it says here. In 208, he told Sun Sentinel that he doesn't want any discrimination in Florida. People to live their life, whether you're rainbow or you're religious. So a non-discrimination order, state employees reiterating former Governor Scott's order. The order included race, but has no protections for sexual orientation or gender identity. So, a policy, equal rights, civil rights policy, that does not mention sexual orientation or gender identity. I would include gender identity under sex, so we can get rid of that and stop trying to confuse everybody with the Baskin Robbins shit. Sexual orientation. I wouldn't be mad that he didn't include it, but I can see why they would want it included. But I wouldn't hold that against him. But I wouldn't be opposed to them including that. Like if they said, hey, you got to mention sexual orientation, fine. Throw that shit in there, fine, whatever. You guys should have. You should be covered, right? Equality Florida strongly criticized DeSantis, with the organization's senior political director saying that it was deeply disappointed to see LGBT employment kind of been left out of the government's executive order. The guy had pledged to sign an LGBT inclusive order as governor, but did not follow through on the grounds that proper federal protections existed. Oh, there you go. That's a good point. After federal protections existed, then there's no reason to do it at the state level. Issued a proclamation honoring the victims of. So he's not homophobic, because here he says DeSantis' office issued a proclamation honoring the victims of June 12, 2016, at the Orlando nightclub. We know that was a rainbow event. Russia investigation, technology companies. Let's see what it says about. In response to social media companies moving Trump from platforms, DeSantis and pushed legislation in Florida legislature to prohibit technology companies from deplatforming political candidates. Prohibit big tech from deplatforming political candidates. I can't say I disagree. I can't say I agree either, because it could be a precedent, right? Saying, what private companies can do. I would have to specify and say any private tech company who works with the government cannot deplatform political candidates. You have to be complete. You can't get subsidies. You can't work with the government in any facet. And then obviously we know that would include the Twitters or Facebooks of the world. Right? You can't work with any government agency. A federal judge blocked the law by preliminary injunction the day it was to take effect on the grounds that it violated First Amendment and federal law. Right. I mean, like I said, that would set a precedent. When Twitter suspended DeSantis administration critic Rebecca Jones' account for violating rules against spam and platform manipulation, DeSantis' office applauded the decision, calling it long overdue. Right. See, and that's the thing. Like, that's where it becomes hypocritical, right? You're saying that they shouldn't deplatform political candidates or politicians or whatever, but then somebody gets banned and you're like applauding that, right? Like, you have to be consistent across the board. You have to be consistent across the board. I can see why he would, just from a flawed ego perspective, right? Like, you're like, oh, my guy got suspended, your guy should get suspended too. But I still would keep the consistency and say, no, bring back Rebecca and bring back my homie Trump too, right? That's the angle I would take. And I think it would actually be shocking to the left and others when he says, Rebecca has been a long time critic of mine, but we need to reinstate her account. This is a violation of legislation I've pushed to Florida legislature, right? And then that makes you a consistent person, but you can't do the hip hopping. You can't do the flip flopping. You can't do that. Just like I was talking about before in the past, there was white nationalists online and they were saying things and I said, no, I don't want to see their account suspended. I don't care how evil, outside of death threats and violence. I don't think their little tears matter, right? Their little rhetoric does not matter to me. I don't fear that. And then when Twitter started putting the hammer down, a lot of black Twitter, like 50% of black Twitter got suspended like overnight. And I'm like, see, it's like you got to apply, consistently across the board. And when it happens to somebody else, you could be next. Also, I don't like the balance of power that comes with deplatforming political candidates. When you have when tech companies get to pick and choose what political candidates can leverage social media, it's you're playing a balance of power game, right? And you can say, oh well, we want to win. We want to give more reach to a particular political party. You can just ban other people's accounts, right? That you just don't agree with. So I definitely don't think it's cool. I think it should be applied across the board. I also am opposed to political candidates using social media. I think that political candidates should be banned from social media. All of them. All of them. And we the people should want that. Because what we're getting into now is tit for tat, immature behavior. Everybody's trying to pull the whole, let me rag on this person type thing, and clout chasing and grifting. And it's just become, it's like, no, like you're supposed to be a senator. Like do some real work. Do some real work. If you're going to tweet, show us the work that you're doing in your community. I was listening to Soul today. I was listening to Soul earlier today. I listen to a lot of Soul and a lot of Walter E. Williams lately. I listen to a lot of different things, but most recently I was listening to Soul. And matter of fact, I'll tell you the lecture it was I was listening to. There's one on intellectuals and race. This one is with Hoover Institution. Intellectuals and race. And damn, I lost my train of thought. Let me see if I could. I completely lost my train of thought, but it's all good. I do that a lot, especially when I get like sidetracked in like another thought. But now you gotta apply this stuff equally across the board, man. You can't just ban one political person and not another. You just can't do that. What else we got here? Personal life. All right, so let's give DeSantis a score. Let's give DeSantis a score. Yeah, no insider trading too. He said no mean tweets. Tweets are fun. Yeah, reinstate Dr. Malone. Dr. Malone should definitely come back. I definitely believe in him coming back. It's ridiculous that they banned his account. You like the new overlay? Thanks, bro. Yeah, no, I just don't believe in what would I tell my 25-year-old self? Buy Bitcoin. Intellectuals of race and Black Twitter being censored. Yeah, what was my train of thought on that? Race and Black Twitter. It'll come back to me. It's going to come back to me like as soon as I log off of here or in another lecture that I come on and do. Maybe if I look at my phone and look at the video. But it was a great lecture by Soul. And he was asking them some really good questions about his stance on things.
December. Somewhere how to get to work on time, how to get a that's right, and he's not gonna.
Yeah, it was a really good lecture. But as it related to DeSantis, I believe, Soul as it related to DeSantis. Yeah, it's not coming back to me. And I don't even smoke weed no more. I haven't smoked weed in mad long. I think it's because I've been drinking the tap water, and the tap water, we just got a notice and it says that the tap water had lead in it all year. So I believe that I could potentially, and they said like memory loss was one of the side effects. I'm like, oh shit, I got lead in my brain. So I'm about to do like some Hotep detox or something like that just to decalcify my pineal gland. because who knows what the hell's going on in my brain right now. That's the only thing I can attribute it to. But yeah, if I was to tell my 25-year-old self anything, man, it's buy Bitcoin. And if you're going to buy Bitcoin, make sure you buy Bitcoin from some place that I have equity in. Right here. Coinbits. Turn spare change into Bitcoin. You can buy Bitcoin on a weekly basis, daily basis, however you see fit automatically. Coinbits.app. He said, I quit smoking weed and seen a big difference in my performance. Yeah. Me too. Although tonight I'm probably going to indulge in a little bit of the cannabis. You said you've been brain fogging a lot lately. Yeah, it's all good. What else I talking about was it was the intellectuals and race lecture. You said cilantro for the lead detox. I had some cilantro today. Hopefully that does the thing, does the trick. Anyway, I'm gonna head over to my chess channel, play some chess. Maybe that'll help my brain a little bit. So subscribe over there. Everybody keeps telling you about this Richard Hart guy. Tell him reach out. He reaches out. I'll talk to him. I'll do a pre-interview. I'm not familiar with his work. But yeah, let's everyone have a happy new year, man. Whatever your resolution is, work on it ASAP. Don't be a procrastinator. Whatever it is, work at it, man. Just work at it and get it done. I'm already building up the habits for my new year, and I'm having I plan on having a great new year. Hotep Nation plans on having a great new year. We got our launch tomorrow, Hotep Nation. Subscribe to the Hotep Nation channel. We have some great content. The documentary drops tomorrow. So make sure y'all check that out. But happy new year, y'all. Y'all be safe. I'm out of here. Love y'all.